Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. First video in a while, and I'm actually going to be changing up my channel content from now forward. I'll go into some more detail on the Facebook page that I have, which is what's happening in the AFL, which I'll put the link to that down below, so go over and like that. But what this channel is now going to be about, instead of the results, who's in, who's out, injuries, reports, etc., that'll be more on my Facebook page now. And this channel, the YouTube channel, will be more videos about sort of like issues and like topics to like up for discussion. So it'll be more of a discussion channel. So I thought I would kick off my new channel, or my new and improved channel, I guess, with what is a Hall of Famer? Now, there was an article in The Age a few days ago. Didn't actually write down the author of that, which a bit disappointing that I didn't do that. I thought I had, but I actually hadn't. So if anyone actually knows who authored that, put that down in the comments, and I'll be very, very thankful for that. But whoever it was a former player, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, that's beside the point. He kind of talked about what is a Hall of Famer, what do you have to do to get an AFL, like into the AFL Hall of Fame. This isn't club based, this is AFL based. Getting an AFL Hall of Famer is a lot harder than getting a club Hall of Famer. So a few of the players I'm going to talk about will definitely get in their club Hall of Fame, but won't be getting in the AFL Hall of Fame, in my opinion. So the first thing that I'll talk about is what gets you in Hall of Fame. So, of course, there's a lot of accolades that you can win. There's Brownlow medal, there's Coleman medal for the goal kickers, there's All-Australian, there's premierships, Norm Smith's premierships, all that kind of stuff. But do those accolades get you into the Hall of Fame? Alone, I'm going to say no, because, well, a couple of reasons. First thing is, talking about Brownlows, there's two players I want to talk about, Shane Woboden and Brad Hardy. Those are two Brownlow medalists. They won their Brownlows several years ago. Woboden was 2000, can't exactly remember what year Brad Hardy was. Again, put that down in the comments if you know. I should do my research. No, so Woboden and Brad Hardy, and you could probably think of a couple of other Brownlow medalists, they won't be getting in the Hall of Fame. I just personally don't feel that they've done enough. I mean, they have won a Brownlow, but I don't think they've done enough in their other years of their career to really put them into Hall of Fame, like to give them a Hall of Fame worthy career. So, yeah, disappointing for them, Brownlow is an amazing accolade, good on them for those years, but as I said, I just don't think the other years that they've played, they've done enough. So, next is Coleman's, actually. Do Coleman's alone get you in? A couple of blokes that I've written down are Buddy, who can guarantee he'll be a Hall of Famer. But Jack Riewoldt is someone that I want to talk about. He's actually won a few Colemans in his day, 2, 3, I think he's up to at the moment. So he's won 2 or 3. This is Jack Riewoldt. But I don't see him as a Hall of Famer personally. Richmond fans, you can disagree with me, of course, but I personally don't see him as a Hall of Famer. But his career's not over, so possibly. So yeah, we'll wait and see, I guess. But the biggest thing is premierships, actually. So I looked up which players have won, multiple premierships. One of them is Travis Varco, a name that I played a couple of premierships with Geelong. Not thinking that he will be getting. He actually almost definitely won't get in the Hall of Fame in my book. He's just, yes, he's played in premierships, but so have players like, I don't know, Brent Renouf, Matt Spanger. I'm blanking now, but you can list off 10, 20 players plus that have played in the premiership, but just not going to happen, not going to get into the Hall of Fame. Most of the doggies in 2016 won't be getting in. But I'm also going to be talking about, in that respect, the Hawthorn three-peat, actually. Players that played in those, like all three of those premierships, 13, 14, 15, who I don't think will be getting in the AFL Hall of Fame. I think they'll get into the Hawthorn Hall of Fame, but as I said before, that's very different. A club Hall of Fame is very different to a AFL Hall of Fame. So I'm just putting a few names down. Luke Bruce, Paul Popolo, Isaac Smith, Liam Shields, Ben Stratton, and Grant Birchall. Those are all players who, if you really watch them, like specifically watch them, for all the Hawthorn supporters out there who will be watching this, you can back me up here. They're just incredible players if you watch them, but they're not really ones that get into the news, get into the stats, get into anything, because they get goals. Bruce, Popolo, Smith, and that they get in goals, but guys like Stratton and Birchall, specifically because they're backmen, they do the 1%ers in the back line, and things that don't get into the stats, which you don't see them in the stats, just means, they've had a terrible game, but that's actually not true. So if you actually watch them, they're just incredible players. They're actually my two favourites, Birchall and Stratton. It was specifically Birchall for quite a few years. Last couple of years I've been looking at Stratton, and he's since Birchall's got some injury, I've been looking more specifically at Stratton, and he's just incredible. So many fantastic intercept marks, intercept possessions, and as I said, 1%ers. So those are my two favourite Hawks at the moment. In the article that I referenced earlier, is there was a list of players, firstly, who were definitely in, and secondly, who are on the cusp of getting in, who may get in, but these are players, especially the ones that are definitely in, if they retired tomorrow, if they got a career-ending injury, because there's quite a few players who are quite old, but if they retired tomorrow for whatever reason, would they get in the Hall of Fame? And these are a few that in that article they said that they would get in the Hall of Fame. Those are Luke Hodge, Lance Franklin, Gary Ablett Jr., Joel Selwood, Patrick Dangerfield, Nathan Fyfe, Scott Pendlebury, Trent Cotchin, and Alex Rance. So I agree with every single one of those. I think if they retire tomorrow, definite first ballot Hall of Famers as soon as they were eligible, which is fantastic for them. They're just all incredible players. A couple of former Hawks in there, which is fantastic. No current Hawks, unfortunately, but yep. I want to talk about, because I didn't actually write down who the ones on the cusp were that were in the article, but I've written a few that I think are on the cusp. So the first is Dusty Martin, who I think will definitely get in the Hall of Fame, but if he retired today, he wouldn't. He just needs a couple more brilliant years, which will happen. But I think if he retired today, it's just not a guarantee. Next is a bit of an odd one, Brendan Goddard. He's someone that obviously had his career at the Saints and onto the Bombers, but will he get in? I'm not 100% sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't, if you know what I mean. Like, he's not definitely in, but he's not definitely out, which is a bit disappointing for him that he's not definitely in. But because he's a fantastic player. I watched him a lot at St Kilda and obviously at Essendon. I've got a close friend that's St Kilda, and she loves him. So next is Eddie Betts, who I think, just like Dusty, needs a few more great years. Yeah, he's probably not going to be first ballot Hall of Famer, as they say, but he'll definitely be in. Maybe not as soon as he's eligible, but definitely will be one of these days. A couple more, just for my own indulgence, a couple of Hawks. First is Surioli. Don't think he's guaranteed in. He'd be a guaranteed in a couple of years probably, once he's had a few more years in his career. But because he hasn't finished, he just needs to get a couple more years. And the final one, is Jared Roughhead, who I think, because as we know, he had the cancer, so at the moment he's not as good as he would have been if he hadn't have got the cancer. I think if he hadn't have gotten sick and been out for that time, I think he would be on the list of definitely in. I just think since he's gone down a little bit, because obviously he's recovered and he's not as good as he was beforehand. But I think he will get in, but he's another one of those ones on the cusp for me. There's quite a few players, this one's a hard one, who will get in the future. So a few that I've written down is Tom Lynch, Gold Coast Tom Lynch, of course. Great player, like a fantastic player, young still. I very much like the look of Tom Doty, who first year, but was his first year or his first few years? But I think if he does as well as he's doing at the moment, I think if he keeps going, if he can keep it up, I think he'll be all right. And Hawk for me is Harry Morrison. Very young, like he's only played a handful of games, but I think he will get in 10 years maybe. I really hope so. He's really promising, and yeah, it's great. So yeah, that's it for this video. A long one to start, but comment below what some of the other things that you want in my videos, some of the more things you want me to talk about. And yeah, head over to what's happening in the AFL, and on Facebook I'll put the link to that, as I said, below. And yeah, thanks guys.